bother just on the discussion will border on what you started sharing, you know.
Yeah,
So, like I said, the way I knew you back then, and then
yeah,
how so I'm just getting the hint that it wasn't intentional. It was just, was needed for you to get into it. So you can continue from there.
yeah. Yes. Well, it being needed also led to the intentionality of it, because there were certain mates or certain people who also found themselves in my situation and decided to not play on whatever they could, to make the most of it. Because I was in school, there was a point in time where I was taking care of myself, so sports wasn't because it was just for fun or I wanted the glory. It was because it was giving me allowance. When we go for we went for we go for games, we get $300 as per diem. So those I had to try, like I had to train hard because Charlie, okay, you get small. At the end of when we have any tournaments coming up, the school feeds us breakfast, lunch, and supper. When you're a sports person, you are away. When you're in a school team,
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
automatic allocation in the halls. So if you
yeah.
know, I stayed 5 years in Independence Hall. I never got a hostel. My whole time in school, I didn't go for hostel. So I did sports. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that there are certain societies or certain relationships I formed that were kind of like survival instincts. It was strategies. Because Charlie, when I go and check the hostel fee at Gaza and all those places, Charlie, look how far away.
Brunei is there.
Charlie, Brunei fee that says plus you have to get shuttled. I mean, you're in the hall, you are close to the faculty, so you walk, you do all these things. I'm sure there was a time when I started making a lot of noise in school. A lot of people thought there was some kind of jokes where, hey, Charlie, why no stew? We play stew, I'll stand aside in the lawn, I'll be shouting at the ladies' room, Charlie, who has cooked me? I'm hungry. Oh. Sometimes it was jokes, sometimes true, we're gonna eat. You get to so some of these kind of circles that I found myself in were partly for survival. I mean, when I say survival, it's not that deep. It's not, like manya mewu. No, none of that. But I mean, sometimes as a guy, you want to do some and then you see the benefit. If I do this one, go figure this. You do this one, you go figure that. So that was part of the intentional side of it. The accidental side, or the, like you put it, the needed side, was that certain relationships that you just automatically have. Like your classmates, like your dorm or your roommates, people you came from SHS with, people you've known from primary, people who live in the same area, people you find yourself in church with. These are relationships that become kind of it just happens. You don't choose some. I mean, I know now they do, but back in our time, you don't get to choose who you go into your room with. So you just happen to find yourself. So what I try to do is that wherever I find, whatever space I find myself, I try to be serviceable. It's as simple as that. And being serviceable means that people always need you. Sometimes there's a company or even, I mean, let's go back to our schools. The most remembered people are not the biggest teachers or the one who drove the fanciest cars. Sometimes it can be that bestseller who was always there, like morning to like dependable. Whenever somebody goes and doesn't have money or best or sell out, it can be that photocopier man who every Pascobia he gets some. Those kind of people are the ones you remember from school. Those are the kind of people that you remember from anywhere. So in my life, I think you remember me personally from Indies because we found ourselves in certain spaces, and when we had to do general cleaning, I was there. When we had to go and do this, I was there. Hall activities, I'm trying to lend a hand, and that's where we ran into each other. So those are the kind of things that I believe that forced me to become a popular person. I mean, I didn't go to school saying I want to be popular, and telling all my friends, everybody, even so that all my friends were all, shall I say, richer than me or smarter than me or something other than me, But then just because I was just there, Charlie. I'm trying to be there. I'm trying to be serviceable. I don't care if you're older than me, if you're younger than me. I respect everybody the same. I'm cool with everybody, and with that, it sets you up for the possibility where if you are intelligent or if you are graced enough, you can make the most out of those kind of relationships. You can build certain long-lasting friendships and certain you can gain a lot of knowledge to people open up to you to teach you things. People open up to you to introduce you, or your name gets mentioned in certain spaces that you would have had no idea about. I mean, for example, through that kind of relationship, not because I've written a certain exam to show you that Minimadia and Abi, or not because I've done anything, but because we met in Indies and whatever. Now through you, I've met Kombian. Who knows when from here to it's going to go. So it's not always necessarily a scripted thing. It can be accidental. But then when we spoke about this, I said, "Oh, Charlie, I want to come on your podcast." I said, "Charlie, this." So those are times that you also have to be a little bit proactive and not just be there. Like, there are people who know people, but you can just be there. But sometimes you also have to, especially when you see the value in people, you have to try and let them know that you recognize it, appreciate it, and would want to maybe learn or tap from it. And with that, when people open up to you, it grows you yourself. You get it. So I think that's how come I ended up in certain circles or gaining certain connections and being all over and doing so many things. So it just kind of happened, and I just kind of went with the flow.
This is quite loaded. It's quite loaded, and something I don't know. Is it so from what he said? I'm just picking you have to. It's not like he went out specifically to I want to build this kind of relationship, but they happen. But then he was open to it. Like he recognized when it was there. So like, okay, what can I do, or how can I make the most of this particular relationship? And that's what a lot of people miss. We take a lot of things for granted. Like we are in some space like these online platforms or even personally physical meetings. We find some people who will be at a workplace and meetings, and they leave without even saying hello to anyone. Like they don't have that instinct to build, like to reach out to people and to be. And I like how you put away service support. Like, I mean, that means you trying to be there for people. I think it's difficult to see it these days. Like to find that people want to be ready to give or to serve. So I say that my mantra is give before you ask. And when I meet you and when I get in touch with you, I'm always looking at how can I help. I got a co-host gig on Asampa FM. There was a show, it's a hard talk show, and I was interested. So I followed the host and I started I would do a write-up to summarize what they discussed at the end of every show. And I wasn't even on the show. I will listen to the whole show, sometimes 2 hours, and I'll sit down, write a summary of what they discussed, bullet points, and I'll share it to them. They share it on the Asampa page. Sometimes they'll publish it. And so that way, they got notice of me, and the host called me one day and said, "You know what? I want to be a co-host to the show." That was it. So it was like you don't even have to like noticing where this is what I want. This is what I want to have in my city. You see other people doing it. Service first. So I go in with give your time, give your resources, give your talent, give your ideas, and then you don't even have to ask. Like that moment will come when you will have to slot it.
Exactly. No, go on. Let me finish and I'll come in.
Okay. From and it has to do with, first and foremost, build does not profit any gain whatsoever. Just be friends. Look at you and I. I mean, we've never met in person, but I mean, just imagine the level of trust we've gained from each other in the first place. So I think if the first, then almost anything can come out of that kind of relationship. Oh, Jesus Christ. Can you hear me?
There's some breaking.
Yeah, the network keeps going up on my side as well. Oh, it's going up. Anyway, so since it's recording, yeah, I think you mentioned something that these days being serviceable is not popular, let me say, or it's not out there. But I see it is because people don't really understand the value in being serviceable. That's the truth of the matter. If you understand the value in being serviceable, you would rush to be serviceable. Like it's as simple as that. If you it's like this. look, the president is a public servant, right? Look at how people rush to become public servants. You get it? Because there's value in it. It means that once you are serviceable and you are the one providing the service, it comes with trust. Can you do this for me? It means that I have to entrust that particular thing to you. And once I keep trusting things to you, you have value in me. You get, it's as simple as that's what people usually kind of miss. Look at all the big people who have been brought down. Which people have been able to bring them down? Their bodyguards, their drivers, their maid, their cook, their mistress. Somebody who was, you would say, is quite excuse me to say, negligible. But driver, he has some kind of information there. Even the wife of the man doesn't know. The house help only madam's thing be that madam did some 5 years ago that even the bosses in the office don't know. Sometimes even a mistress, like some 19-year-old girl mistress be of a certain big man, he has information to, or he has access to the man much more than the board of directors and all these people. It is all about being serviceable. Once you are serviceable, it comes with trust. Fanny said, I always come to your house and I say, oh, boss, let me shine your shoe for you, right? I keep doing that until it gets to a point when you don't have to even worry about it again. Now I have knowledge of how you like your shoe to be polished, right? Because of that, we may have had conversations about shoes, giving me knowledge on what you know about shoes. Now, a time comes, I'm no longer around, right? Somebody comes to your house and wants to polish your shoe. What's the first thing you do? Oh, they prepare you misunderstanding my penal. That has given me some value. Now the person calls me, do you get it? So now it becomes, even though it was service that I'm providing, now you become needed. When you look at all the great men in history, none of them started from top. I always look at sorry if I'm going off here. When you look at the Bible, right? There are two people who fundamentally make up the Genesis, which is Adam and then Moses. These two people were the people humanity, not a shell monster at a certain point. Moses had to carry the Israelites. Adam had to more or less begin humanity by being responsible for the first kind of creation that there was, right? Now, Adam was given everything, including the responsibility. God, Yabo Adam was say, name all the animals, do this, take care of this, don't do this, don't do that. He got all the responsibility, right? What did that come with? It came with complacency. Because when Adam grew up, things didn't go right, When God came back and asked them, what happened? Why did God ask what happened? Because God had already known what happened. He was giving Adam a chance to say that, oh God, Charlie, I messed up. Fachame, how do we fix this? But Adam at no point admitted that. He felt he was entitled because he had the responsibility to be the man. He was entitled. It wasn't my fault. It's the snake. It wasn't my fault. It was this. Sinus, okay, if you're not ready to, come down to accept that you don't know it all, then bye-bye. Moses, on the other hand, is the only prophet in the Bible. Friend from say Oya Kwala and answer whatever. He took the responsibility upon himself. He saw two people fighting, saw an injustice going on. He could have overlooked and gone. But he told himself, said, let me fix this problem. He went to be serviceable. And it wasn't just once. It was twice. He did it once, he did it again. After it became troublesome, then he ran away. And then God said, this guy, Charlie, he's serviceable. I can use him. Then he can do this. Even when Obian Bisan said he should go and save the Israelites, he's trying to help the slaves. Right? So now I can entrust something in him. Do you see? So when that kind of trust is given you, that's the capital. When that capital is given you, now you can use it to build whatever you want to build. Well, now Moses has the authority to become the Ogboro. Now I can decide, Israelites, when you say, if Moses had gone out to seek the consent of the Israelites to follow him out, but it had to come from service. And it is through service, no one Casano, he understood what it was like to come from the bottom. Because now he realized that he had been a slave before. Into a Chinabino, when he has to deal with them, he deals with them better. So being serviceable, one, it builds you personally, and then it allows people to entrust things in your hands. And once you are honest with it, like we go back to knowing how to utilize the capital to your advantage, not just sitting there, so I know people now want to work. I know, but I know people. What does it look? I always tell people, say, every single friend I have, I think the first time we actually spoke outside campus was when I asked you about a book, B, that would tell you to write a book. I don't know if you remember, many years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, every single person that I have any kind of connection with. I mean, no one more than 4 conversations. One of them will be about some kind of business, any kind of it. Whatever I think that you are doing, Michelle, it's profitable. No, I'll try and find my way to Charlie. Hey, this thing they do there, Charlie, your design, no, Charlie, you do what I will do something, no. And then we see how we can partner. Oh, Charlie, then how we go do one? You have the skill. Oh, me, I know this person who is good at marketing. And my main friend, he's my person. Into Ononoba, he is bringing the marketing knowledge. Oh, I know this person who works at so and so bank. With mama alone, I haven't given loan, but me who? So whatever happens, at the end, there can be 3 or 4 people who are doing the business, but some way, somehow, I'm involved. And I make sure I'm diligent. I make sure that I play my part. I make sure because I see myself, so I'm just there to service and I don't have the capital, I don't have the money or the knowledge or whatever. No. So if there's any, go and buy this, go and do that. That one there doesn't take any knowledge. It doesn't take any skill. I can do that. And with that, you realize that certain certain documents become only you know where they are.
Yeah.
And therefore, if it's let's say a company, after you free company, you look at someone like Despite and Father Dixon. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but there are media gurus, people who have gone to school on my board degree or media, people who have worked at CNN and BBC, whatever. Despite doesn't want any of them. He wants Father Dixon to run his whole media empire. Father Dixon is not really like a university graduate though. But on the empire in nation is why? Because there's trust. I'm sure say if you ask anybody in the company, PCFM, when we were registering it, which address did they use, it will probably it's only Father Dixon who knows. Because I'm sure he might be the one who went to run the photocopies to send to the Registrar General's office. Because yes, me, I'm not a lawyer. Let the lawyers fill the form. I'm not a this. Let them do that. But I will go and deliver this one to that one. So you become the emotional director of the company. You have the heart of the company. And such people, I'm using company as just a term. Such people, it is difficult to get rid of them, even when they are doing nothing. And it's everywhere in the world. In the Western world, they create some kind of offices for such people. And they're just there. They're not really doing anything, but check a moment because you can't really get rid of them. And they make themselves useful. They try to be abreast with whatever it is. Just because you're my friend and I know you are a writer, I just say when you say we're going to discuss social capital, I have to go and do some small reading. Yes, I have to also at least make myself a little bit valuable. When you say you're small market and that's all you are useful for. When you find yourself in that space, try to build small, value and show the person that, make I know, then tomorrow maybe yes, you are just the one doing the errands. Tomorrow it is go and deliver the form. The next day, you can fill the form yourself. The next day, you can sign it. The next day, okay, you can let me make you a signatory to the bank account. The next day is this, and then it goes on in there. But you have to learn how to capitalize on it by building yourself. And look, it all comes down to being serviceable. It all comes down to and being serviceable comes to humility automatically. Telling me this thing I don't know, show me small. Oh, this and that, this. It's like that. So just to buttress on the whole point about being serviceable, people don't understand the value of it. It is that is what is the reason why we're not seeing it much, and that is also why we're not seeing a lot of lasting, shall I say, incomes or lasting projects, because people don't build it right. People think that just because I can get a loan from a bank 50K, I can go and start a farm. It will not work. You get it? You have to be able to have certain knowledge which can only be built through experience. What is experience? Experience is what you learn in life. And how do you learn those things in life? By people telling you certain things. You can never learn it from a classroom. You can never learn it from a classroom. It has to be what yes. Sorry, I'm getting it has to come from what people try to tell you. You get to go certain things that you can read and read and read and read, but you'll never be able to get. And certain aspects of wisdom comes only from social capital, only from relationships. You can get some capital of money. You can get this kind of capital, that kind of capital, but some of it has to be only social capital. So the reason there's a missing link in what we are building, especially as youth today, is because there's little social capital. Look at our parents' time. Sorry if I'm going on a rant here. Cut me off anytime. Look at our parents' time, right? Most of our parents didn't really go to school that far, but most of them have a lot of money, or they had more money than we have at our age. Most of our parents were doing much better than us at our age with less resources because they didn't have the kind of parents we have. I don't know if that makes sense, right? But I didn't have parents who had parents who went to school. I don't know if that makes sense. My dad's parents were ordinary farmers. My mom's dad was a blacksmith, and my mom's mom was a farmer. They were not educated. So my parents didn't have parents who were educated. I have parents who were educated. So ideally, I should be doing better than what my dad was doing when he was my age. But I'm not. When we hear of what like some of our dads, when they were 29, they were married with 2 children and were called Bijan Nabawa. I say, hey, Charlie, how can now you realize that you are 30 something like, hey, so my dad was doing that at this. You hear of your uncle who was 28 and hey, Charlie, how are people doing all these, Charlie? Wild things back days at such young ages? And if you look at people like Rollins who were doing coups and taking over the countries at 34, 35, and you compare it to your age, they're like, hey, Charlie, this is what people were doing. But it all comes down to, at that time, they understood social capital. At that time, Penimu Kasa Yetie. At that time, relationship meant something. At that time, honesty and loyalty meant something. At that time, people formed relationships not because of what they can get, but because of what they can build together. People were honest with each other. So social capital was there. So people were building things, despite Ernesto say they were doing these things. This person and that person were doing this thing. But today it's not there. 9 to 5.
Let's tie into this. Let's give them some pointers. So now we've established the fact that it may not really be like intentional, but just have to be open to seeing where the opportunities are for you to serve. And through the steps,
the value
begin to build, and then you build your own value while you give value also to the people you are relating with. Kombian, let's tie it in with you. It looks like so let's tie it in and let's try to give them some. What else do we look at when we come to building the social capital?
In all of this, we realize that trust is what knits people together. After my encounter with you on social media, if I had not seen any reason or you had not exuded enough confidence and trust, I would have walked off. So clicking a like on your post, to commenting, to critiquing, and even laughing at your post and teasing you, and now even having a face-to-face conversation, there is a string that holds it all, and that string is called trust. At any moment that string is threatened, the relationship becomes shaky. So, and I realized that among the youth, Perry was comparing us to our parents. I realized one thing that marks us out is our parents were very honest people. Yeah. They preferred to be honest and even get punished than to lie and get away with what they did.
True.
My dad would always insist, he will beat you, all right? If you mess up, he will beat you. But you ask him to be honest first before you receive the beating. And that kind of thing, being dead honest, now it looks like a luxury, but it's an important virtue to have. Honesty, simplicity, sincerity. These are the things we are throwing away, but they are very useful. So in any relationship which will build up to the social capital that Perry has stressed so much on, you need trust, sincerity, you need those things, and honesty. Now, before I come in with my own life example to illustrate the point, there's something I'm observing. Maybe it's because too much philosophy is making me mad. Sorry. In Ghana, certain fundamentalist religious elements are weakening trust between people. Now, if the message consistently is that, oh, Perry, somebody is looking for your downfall, somebody wants to do you, somebody is doing you, Obi, every day, somebody is doing you, somebody's looking for your downfall, even the genuine criticism from your colleagues at the office. You tell your pastor about it, and the first thing your pastor tells you is to pray about it. Pray about what? You didn't do this report well. My friend, your colleague says, Charlie, next time, pay attention to these details. And no Danny backbiting, a pastor has to pray and do fasting about it. Come on. Now, that critical element, me being able to look at you, Rudolph or Perry, in your face and tell you, Jack, no, you are going off the mark. And you being honest enough to accept it. That, if you don't have it, no, you can't even build any meaningful relationship. You can't. You simply cannot. And I realized that this, even though religion is a good thing that helps us to build trust first in God and then can transfer that trust to all other human beings, but the fundamentalist element that I mentioned, consistently somebody is doing you, somebody wants to do you, that person, don't take it ordinary. We over-spiritualize literally everything. Come on, if we give in too much to those things, it breaks trust. Genuine criticism, genuine feedback turns into spiritual attack. They are not. They are genuine criticisms. Now, if I tell you my journey in academia, I've not achieved anything yet, but the best people who have helped me have been my fiercest critics. When I was young, he recently visited me here when we were in secondary school. This guy is a shark, like he knows book. We were always competing among ourselves, sometimes first or second, yet we became best friends. He would, if I was slacking, he would be the first to come and tell me, Charlie, of late, you know, the poo crowd. Yeah, that's the kind of human being I've built since 2002. He's been my best friend. I wouldn't lie to you. 2002, that's 21 years. He's my most trusted friend. That him aside, way back around 2009 and 10, I met this Englishman, a wonderful priest, a Catholic priest. He became my spiritual director. A lot of people don't know that side of me. I was once in the seminary. He became my spiritual director. And not just that, he also became my academic mentor. Anything I write, I send it to him to read first, be the first person to criticize me, and he has no mercy. Oh, if it's rubbish, he doesn't waste time calling it rubbish. And those are the kinds of people I've built my life around. There's this young professor who supervised my dissertation, my MA dissertation in the UK. I think about 6 years older than my supervisor in the UK. He didn't bother about our age difference. He will give it like straight to the point. No, you are not going that way. Yes, we are going in this direction. That's fine. Push further. Now, why am I driving at with this? If you also, while you want to build that social network, the kinds of people you relate with or you build your life around matters. Don't over-socialize with questionable characters. Sometimes, just as Perry mentioned, the person you associate with can lead you somewhere. The person you also associate with can destroy your entire life.
Of course.
Imagine even if Despite did not retain, what is his name?
Father.
The Dixon guy you keep mentioning. What's his name?
Yeah, Father.
Dixon, okay. Now, even if Despite didn't maintain, recommended him to somebody else to employ him, the person would have taken Father Dixon. Why? Because Despite is somebody to trust. I mean, if Despite tells you this person is a good man, you'll be happy working with him. Who wouldn't want to accept that kind of human being? But imagine Despite was a questionable character. Father Dick associating himself with him alone will also make him become a little more questionable. So the kind of people you associate with, it matters. So associate with people who are not questionable and who can look you in the face and tell you what you need to do. We are losing it in this generation. Now, this is where it has led me. This Englishman is the reason why I went to UK to do my master's. He has taught a lot of people in Ghana between 2009 and 2013. I was not the overall best student he has ever taught. Why did he single me out? The other day, I visited him my first time I visited him in Italy. He was telling me that I pressed him to tell me why. He said what he loved about me was that I was honest, even if asking myself. You see, I didn't even observe that thing about myself until he told me. He was my spiritual director. And in spiritual direction, you don't go there and say things nicely. No. If you are battling with masturbation, he's the person you tell to assist you. If you are battling with theft, whatever it is that you want to straighten in your life, he's the person you tell as it is. So he came to know me inside out, that I'm somebody, even if it means saying something that will embarrass me, I prefer to be honest than to polish it and look nice. I didn't know Papa did pay myself. That was the whole thing. This man took me to UK, and just as Perry was saying, he introduced me to his big brother, who is a retired professor from Oxford, introduced me to another old professor. And if I am to tell you the line of people I am related with, as though I have some personal connection with them, you'll be shocked. Why? Because of him. Even while here, every week, the man makes sure he calls or texts or emails me to be sure everything's all right. Now, if you can't build your life around people who value honesty, it will be difficult to build any lasting capital. So these people, I tell you, have become resource for me. First, he's the one who reviews all my work before it even goes to any other person. All the people I have around me, they are somehow resource to me. So just to reiterate Perry's point, look, you can't sit all in your corner and expect everything to go as you expect. No, you have to go out to people. But in the process of going out to people and being serviceable, upgrade yourself, relate with honest people, avoid questionable characters, and be genuine and sincere in what you do. I am sure any person who meets you will appreciate you for this. Some may take you for granted because of your honesty, but trust me, you meet the right kind of people. That is just a part of life. Some will take you for granted, even use you in the process of acquiring what they, and once they have what they want, they will drop you somewhere along the line and go their way. No problem. It's like a magnet. Gradually, you're going towards the right kind of people. And when you start attracting the right kind of people, things happen as though you are the only one God sees, or you are the only one whose prayer God hears. That's how the world is. And I have experienced it myself. And I won't lie to you, it pays to be honest. It pays to be honest. So yes, social capital. Go out, build genuine relationship with genuine people who appreciate you, and please be brutally honest and accept feedback from people. Avoid over spiritualizing everything. No, criticisms are not spiritual attacks. I beg, criticisms are not spiritual attacks. It takes a good friend to look you in the eyes and tell you, Perry, no, I won't support you. If you do this, I won't support you. It takes an honest friend to tell you that. You need a very brutally frank friend to say, Rudolph, wait dear daddy, wait your daddy. If you don't have those kinds of friends, I'm sorry, the kind of capital you're building is shaky. Jesus was smart when he said, the foundation on which you build is what determines how the house will withstand storm. He was not just talking about houses. The legacy you're building, the character you are building, the virtues you are acquiring, whether or not they would withstand any kind of shock in life depends on the kind of foundation on which you build it. So if you relate with honest people, I mean, imagine somebody, Perry knows me well, and somebody comes to tell Perry that, oh, William was trying to do this against you. I saw him. The first thing Perry will look at the person, are you serious? William will do that? No, come on. Maybe you can say that about some other person, not William. If honesty is missing, something is gone. If trust is broken, bigger trouble. So approach everyone with honesty and trust those who are trustworthy. And you have no idea where life will take you. It works like magic, honestly. Somebody has muted himself and is busy smiling and talking.
It works like magic. I'm just trying to put it all together from my end, because I'm thinking about the times that I've had to, like, most of the things I've had to do is been through what we are talking about. You know, just to, I went to high school with scholarship, I went to university with scholarship. And it's all basically because of these same things. And we go back to what Perry was talking about, service, and then always trying to looking for ways to, you know, be of value to other people. And from what Kombian just shared, the honesty part and the trust part is something that is missing. And Perry talked about it earlier. So I don't know. Let's bring it to that point, because I feel we have to elaborate a little bit more. We have about let's say 20-25 minutes to go. We obviously we all agree that trust and honesty and loyalty, these are values that are missing right now in our contemporary world. We don't find it. Everyone wants to get ahead. You know, greed and so because of that, as you are being open, trying to, you know, help your friends. I know you are doing some projects on a quick. I'm seeing the post you make on all of that. Whilst you are open, trying to really help other people, like Kombian said, some people want to come in and take advantage of you. So we talk about the fact that we need to build trust and loyalty. But how else do you also look out for like times when, okay, this particular relationship is not going the way I thought it would? When do you cut off? Because if you're building something, if it doesn't fit, you need to take it out. So how do you navigate trying to drop some relationships and focus on other ones, and knowing that, okay, this one is not helping me. Let me focus on this side of it. So I don't know if you get where I'm trying to come from.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Okay, so I'll take it from this point, right? And I absolutely agree with everything that Kombian just said. My only small issue, which is just an addition, is that the whole spirituality aspect, it all boils down to the honesty. You get it? Because the person who, look, I know everybody, unless you are saying you are either insane or you are that, excuse my language, you are that dumb, right? You can tell why something goes wrong if you want to be accountable. You can tell. You cannot tell me that you don't know why this sickness is. I mean, yes, there are the extreme cases. Those ones are there. And those ones are the critical ones that, yes, those ones, it is purely spiritual. But you know for a fact that this is your problem, this your lying problem or your whatever problem, it is you yourself. You know for a fact that this your unemployment, it is not because there's nothing to do. It is you now that maybe some the kind of job that you're looking for, you're not getting, or the kind of, let's say, job that you have to do. Because look, I would say if you're looking for employment, you can work for free. If it's truly work that you want, you can work for free. Because when you were going to school, you were working. It was work. School is work. You have to get up, walk to a place, read, write things. It's work. But you are even paying for that to be done. You get it? So if you want to work for free and know that, okay, I'm going to go and study this apprenticeship and all those things, Hey, Juma, people go and pay to link up into and all those things. You get it? So I always say that yes, there are extreme cases, and those are not the ones I'm talking about. But you can always tell why certain things are happening, or even if you can't tell, you can, I mean, ask the necessary people, and you can tell why certain things are happening. So the spirituality will always boil down to the honesty. And the man of God who is also telling you that it's because of a certain witch and a certain calabash under your bed, he's also not being honest with you. So both of you are being dishonest. You are being dishonest with yourself, and he's being dishonest to you. And then it creates a problem because all of you want somebody to blame. You don't want to be honest with yourself. And like Kombian rightly said, you don't want to be critical with yourself. Now this one, Charlie, I have to do this. I have to accept. Yes, me, I mean, British royal family, but this is where I've been born into. This is where I find myself. I'm honest with myself to know that I'm not this person. I'm not that person. I can't play football like Asamoah. Okay, me too. What do I have? I'm honest with myself. I'm content. Then I build it from there. So I think the spirituality aspect all comes to we don't want to be honest with ourselves, and we don't want to hear the honest truth about ourselves. We rather want to go and hear someone who will say something that will sweet our ears. Yeah, so that's where the honesty aspect comes from. Now, about navigating your way through relationships so that you can build social capital. What I would say is that I have learned the hard way in many, many things. I'm someone who is very, very careful not to talk about my personal life and all those things on social media, although I'm very loud. But bad friends have taken me to very weird places and back. Things that I could have achieved in 2 years or 3 years have had to take me 6 years, 7 years, because of people leading me down the wrong path. Maybe another time we can talk about my life. That'll be another whole journey. But the good people have also brought me where I am today. It was somebody's advice that, oh, why don't you go and work in this farm? And okay, that was before I went to university. Somebody just suggested it, and I was gonna add to the fact that, in Kombian situation, you can identify that your angel, that mentor, right? And then he guides you, and if you're honest and obedient and everything that we've discussed enough, then you are set. But I think the question we are asking now is, how do you get that person? Because Kombian has given maybe a number of years, like you said, from 2002 or whichever, a number of years to this person, and it has paid off. But imagine if that person was, like you mentioned, a questionable character. Where would he be now? My father always, and I use my father a lot, even though I don't have a relationship with him. And he always used to say when I was younger that anybody who is born to be a leader will be a leader. It is up to direction, whether he will be a leader of a church, a leader of a country, a leader of a gang, a leader of a Ashawobi. Because in every group, there are dynamics. You get, when you go to the prison cells, there's always the cell, the boss, and it could have been you, it could have been me, but something took us here to become, look at it this way. Look at the topic we are discussing. We're discussing something that we believe is progressive. There are certain people also on a similar Zoom meeting discussing some absolute nonsense. You see, so wherever it is that you're supposed to go, like Kombian said, you will get there. But then the right association, if you're lucky enough to meet that person when you are 17, and then he takes you here and then he advises you to do this and leads you to tell you that you're all set. If you are not, then the question, how do you find the person? Now, the number one thing is to have yourself, personal principles. It is personal principles that will guide you in whatever you are going to do, right? Personal principles are different from personal goals. Personal principles are things that you will never catch me there doing. Develop some of them first of all, and those are built through your diligence to whatever it is that is your moral backing. Whether it is religion, whether it is the universe, whether it is history, whether it is philosophy, whether it is the law, whatever it is, develop personal principles that you will not break. So if you say, as for me, I'm an atheist, but I'm going to be diligent with the law, I'm never going to break the law. I don't care about God, I don't care about sin, whatever. It means you never break the law. Those are your personal principles. Those will guide you to finding the right people who have principle in what you want to achieve. So that sets a foundation. Like he said, his personal principles that he's going to be brutally honest, right? So that led him to getting to people who are also honest people. Because like we're saying, how do we navigate through the bad ones? So I want to believe that nobody will set negative personal principle for themselves. Nobody will say, as for me, I want to be the biggest arm robber in Accra. If that's your principle, or as for me, I'll make sure that I never own a license, but I always drive. If that's your principle, you will be guided to find people who will make you the best of that also.
Okay.
And that will lead you wherever it's going to lead you. Like I said, there are leaders in prison and there are leaders of a country. You get me? So the personal principles you build, you make sure then you attach the honesty to it. Right? I mean, all these are the attributes of being serviceable. Yes, you are serviceable, but how do you use it to build social capital? So you develop your personal principles. That as for me, I'm myself, and I say drugs, and I say I'm going to make sure say I'm going to be an academic. I'll read, I'll do this. Those are your personal principles. Stick to them. It will guide you in the kind of girlfriends you take. It will guide you in the kind of relationships you form. It will even guide in the kind of churches you go to. You know, there are certain churches you go and be like, I didn't say I'm feeling vibe. What is the vibe? You know, Kombian like this will not be able to go and sit in any pastor's church who is going to do morning to evening prophecy. He'll get annoyed because it doesn't fall in line with his personal principle. It is not that he claims to know God better than anybody. No. Exactly my point. But he has his principles that I don't want to be associated with it. So that is how you begin to navigate. So if you meet friends who are advising, oh, Charlie, about Wednesday, 8 o'clock, Charlie, some prayer tower be that we forgo. He automatically knows that these are not friends who are taking me to where I want to go to. Because he has this idea. Yes, he might, like he said, he might not be anybody, Sebi. He might not be where he wants to go. But he has certain values, sir. Even if you're going to pay him whatever amount, he will not go against it. And like he's mentioned, honesty is one, loyalty is another, which we're about to get to, right? And then being critical with yourself, which is integrity, is also something we haven't mentioned. Having integrity is being able to say that, Bosu, this deal you are bringing me, I can make 10,000 from it. You will never know, but it's not right. You take it to this person. It's 500 cedis. That is integrity. And that's the key thing that is missing in our current dispensation of Ghana. That is actually what is causing all the problems. I always tell people that the only day corruption will end is when somebody is in a position to benefit from corruptions, but says, no, I'd rather suffer. That is when corruption ends. It is when your uncle is the director of BOST. You know that there's a vacancy. You don't qualify. Your uncle says, oh, Charlie Rudolph, you crampo, I say, me, who know you? Position do I say, Nejisika say. And you say, oh, uncle, wait there, go, wait there. I know that I don't qualify. There are people qualify. As stupid as it sounds, that is the only thing that will end corruption. When people start to be honest. And when you've lived in the Western countries, I went to school in London. When you've lived in the Western country, that is the commonality there. When you give somebody something
By the way, which of the London schools did you go to? I
went to Rokeby. It was in Stratford.
Stratford.
Yeah, East London. I was there. I did my secondary school to 2006. It was quite a rough neighborhood. I lived in Forest Gate. I moved to West Ham. Moved to West Ham. I had family in Stratford. I finally moved to North London. Then all these nonsense issues, like I was saying about friendship leading you astray.
So are you still in London or in the UK or you?
No. My family is all in London. My parents are in North London, 7 sisters as we speak. I think
they moved to
yeah. My dad is a pastor.
Let's not go to London.
Otherwise,
we'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about that later on.
Before you ask Capo, then maybe you know my father, or you know my mother, or you know my people.
You see the thing.
That's life. You get it. You know what I mean? So what I was saying is that in UK, when somebody receives a salary that is more than they know they earn, they will take it straight to the management. Like, and it is the norm. It is not. It is like, and he will be offended if, oh no, you can keep it.
Right, you mean it's not? Is that grace? Is that blessing?
No, he will take it. If you tell him that you're not good, look at it this way. Let's say Kombian is my supervisor, right? And I know that my salary, as agreed, is £1,000 a month, right? Now my salary comes is 1,500. I tell Kombian, he says, oh, it's just bonus because you've done so much good work, blah blah blah. I say, okay, fine, cool. It can be a one-off, no problem. I take it. The following month, it comes 1,500 again. I go to Kombian. I mean, is there a salary adjustment? Oh, no. You don't. You take it. Immediately, do you know what happens to me? I become suspicious. I said, no, Kobe, do you know, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't know what it's. You take it back and let's find out. Right? If Kombian says, you know what, it's an oversight, you keep it. No. You know, you take it back. Let's see the process. If Kombian says, no, I don't want to take it back. The next thing I'm doing is I'm going to Kombian supervisor. I think Kombian is trying to do something fishy in this company because he's trying to, rope me into being an accomplice. And that's how they think. And that's integrity. When police go into any house in England, when they go into the house first, and I've seen it because I've been a witness, when they go into the house first, the first person they are talking to is a child. They come here, and they obey the lead down, obey in the chair, not on one level. Tell me everything because they know that the child will not lie.
Yeah.
That even if have you ever seen your mom beating your daddy? And all these domestic violence cases is usually the kids who will testify. Yes, I saw mommy doing this and this and that. Don't worry, it's fine. You're gonna go to grandma. We'll take care of you. Nobody's gonna touch you. Are you okay? No. Then they prosecute. And once it's coming from a child, they know it's not a lie. That's integrity. Over here, hey, akola pennies and papa and penny focus on adu anoko tumbo. We akola boni passion pennies and be. And to say ye kind of we teach children to lie.
You tell your child say a obi be show
yes.
Like
yes, who goes to a catch your headmaster say, oh, but now papa nifi. We teach people to lie. We teach kids to lie. And so a child who is brutally honest is why pennies.
Yeah.
You get it? So integrity becomes missing. If you have your personal principles, right, and you're honest with yourself, then you have integrity. The next thing is to develop discipline. Because that's what makes all these things possible, right? Because discipline means that there are going to be certain times that you're not going to be really comfortable with what you have to do, not in terms of its morality, but in terms of its drainage, sometimes on your money, sometimes on your time, sometimes on your physical strength. Sometimes you have to do some job, that I will not get anything from it, but you have to do it. And you have to make sure you stay up to do it and do it well. That's how you build a social capital. Because you know that you are going to look at capital as a currency. And currency means that you can exchange it for goods and services, right? If you see your social capital as something that's exchangeable for goods and services, right, you're done. I'll tell you something. I've been trying to do a project for the past 5 years, a movie project I'm trying to do, and I'll share it with you behind the scenes, right? And it is a story of one of the biggest historical figures in the country, and all I've needed till now is permission from the family. I've been trying ways and means to get it for the past 5 years. This person is a very, very huge figure, a national asset, and I've tried to do a movie documentary type of project around them, and I've been trying to get. I'm not getting it. It took my colleague Kojo, right? Kojo Kotobatin from City FM. It took him, and we've been working together on certain projects. Some of them didn't work out. We did City Farms together. We did this together. We did that together. Through all those periods, I saw him as somebody who has something. So whatever he says, oh, big brother, this and that, big brother, this and that, big brother, this and that. Whenever I have to cover him, I cover him. Whenever he has to cover me, he does that. He calls me up and tells me, I'm going for lunch with this person. And that's the direct, the person in charge of this person I'm talking about, like entire history, legacy, everything. The person directly in charge of it, who makes the decision. He said, I'm going to lunch with this person. And I'm like, oh, sir, hey, anyway. Is it, oh, I'm like, what kind of lunch is it? Is it work? I said, no. Michiano or dinner be as so and so open myself. It's in the membrane near Bonkomo. And to come along, let's go. I'll introduce you as my friend. And that was all. So we go there and he does this, things that, oh, so by the way, this is Perry and he's a good friend of mine and we've been doing this and he's my colleague and he's this and this and that and and he says, oh wow, nice to meet you. Then this person also, oh, then we're gonna be friends now. Then I said, oh, I've even been trying to reach you for like the past 5 years and so and so and so. It's like, really, I've actually had an idea to do that particular thing. So please make time to come to my office next week. Let's sit down and talk. Just like that. Kojo didn't have an idea of what it was. This person was also sitting there. And I'm sure if I tell the number of letters I've written and meetings I've tried to book to go through the right channel to access this person, but and I had no idea. It's like you, Rudolph. Let's say I want to be you have history in football. Let's say I want to be a musician. I know you have nothing in music, right? But through you, I can meet the brother of, let's say, Bolare, or the wife of Dr. Dre or Eminem. Then just through that relationship, now I find myself in a space of them. Now this space doesn't come with formality, so there's no need for checks and balances. It comes with personal trust, like Kombian mentioned. So automatically, I don't have to put you through what I would have put an intern who came in, because you can also maybe go to that space. You became an intern and then you rose to become manager. Then do this. The CEO have certain level of trust, but you have to earn it over a period. But you come in and your wife says, you say, Kombian is my classmate. He was sitting next to me in class. I this guy there, Charlie from childhood crampono on funny stick as someone grow. See, I'm sure this accounting thing there. Maybe sir, can you do it? Then let's do. Automatically, you have jumped so many levels and so many years of trust that would have been built and earned. But because of the social capital you have, now what I'm putting together is that you have to have the discipline to put the work in. Because sometimes it's going to be difficult. When Kojo said, let's go for lunch, honestly speaking, I'm in person because my church is doing 50 days fast and I'm hungry. And I know Kojo, I didn't want to go. But I felt no, this is something I said I have wanted to do. If the opportunity has presented itself, let me not slack. That's the discipline aspect. So yes, Kombian could have said that, Charlie, I'm coming to travel to UK to go and learn. This man, let him try and get me something in Ghana. Do you get it? But he had to have the discipline to say, Charlie, no, this one day to be uncomfortable. I'll be pulled away from family, maybe to be stressful for whatever, but let me go through it. So that's the time when you begin to leverage off it. And the minute you start to show discipline, more and more trust is given you. So in Kombian's case, we are talking about how to navigate your way right now. So I'm building it onto it. When he met the man fresh, he had to show discipline that yes, you're honest. You are not the only honest person. You are not the only brutally critical person, right? But when you were given the small assignment, you made sure you did it and did it on time. When you were given a research paper, I know this one, when you had the discipline to go and sit up at night and read whatever you're supposed to read to present it, so that every point in time, more responsibility will be given you. And with more responsibility that comes, it goes back to Moses, like I said, it started off him having to separate two slaves. Now separating a slave and a soldier. Now going into a wilderness for a certain time. Now dealing with a small family. Now coming back to deal with Pharaoh and his people. Now dealing with the group of Israelites here. Now dealing with the entire nation. So the responsibility, once you do it and you are disciplined and do it. Now, what happened when Moses became complacent and then he started not being disciplined? He lost everything. The same God who entrusted him with everything, when Moses started, the discipline lost, pointed this way. Oh God, that's it. Do you get it? So in as much as social capital is a currency, it means that it can also be lost. So it is discipline that will sustain you over the period. So the only way to navigate, you have your personal principle, that's one. You make sure you have integrity in that you are honest with yourself. Because look, there are a lot of things that you can go away with. You can seem like the most honest person, right, to the whole world, but you will not be the honest person. And we see that all the time. We see people that are not here. It shows that they don't have integrity. They may portray an honest picture. They are critical or crazy or basic. But most are because integrity need to be honest with himself. That I do with the there are big men who have been bashing government this and that. Not small check, be not the signature because he thought he wouldn't be caught. And that's the integrity aspect. You get it? So once you have your personal principles, that will tell you where you want to go. That's not your career. That's not your vision. Your personal principle is that I want to be the richest man. So that is money. What do I want to do to achieve it? I want to make sure I never step on anybody's toes. That's your principle. So when you're going towards Obia or comfortable, I'm going to make sure I'll never break any of the Bible's rules. That's my make sure I'm not ever go. Sorry, but I think I was getting a call through. I'm going to make sure I'm never going to go against God's word. That's a principle. And then once you have those principles, you have to be disciplined in your work, because that is when because look, you're going to meeting people all the time. You meet people all the time, right? And the question is about navigation. Navigation means you are sitting in a boat. The tides are blowing here and here. How do you navigate? If you don't have a destination that you think you are going to, then there's nothing to navigate. The only way you're navigating is because you know that I have to go here. Intimate Shako left. It means that there must be a certain paddle on this side so that I come right. If it's going too far right, it means that because you know the destination is supposed to go to. So that discipline of paddling, is what you need, because that is what's going to sustain you. Otherwise, like I said, I use my life as an example. If that discipline is missing, you will go one step forward, two steps back. One step forward, two steps back. And there are so many people that we see that. It be me the we come this land, but what happened plus or it be me the man gave you that appointment to. And I'm sure Kombian has examples of that. People that you started with, but then tell me what happened. And there are people that the man this boy, I told him to do this, he wasn't serious about it, so I've moved on. There are people that you are going to hear those stories about. So it is the discipline that will keep driving it, because initially, the reason I keep saying discipline is that initially it will not come with salary. Sorry, I'm sweating a bit. Initially, it will not come with salary, and that's when you need discipline. Because if it comes with big money, you don't need discipline, because your time is being paid for.
The incentives are there, so
exactly. So you don't need discipline. You're actually being paid to do it. But when you know that this is where I want to go, I have to put in the work. If it's 1 year, 2 years, sacrifice my life. And there are people that I have worked for 5 years. I've given myself 5 years to be disciplined and work for this person without earning a salary, and it didn't pay off. It happens. You get it? But you build certain relationships, and through that period, like one thing that Kombian said, if you're a person who is honest, even through the wrong associations, you can build the right association. Are you aware of that? Even through the wrong association, like I mean, it all goes back to your personal principle. But somebody can see you with this questionable character and say, Charlie, come, I feel you, but this company they inside there. I'm not sure say this. You do what? Let me talk to this my uncle for you. When they see that you have personal principles of your own, they can identify that, this boy there, if not for his boss, if not for this, if not for that, if not for his father, if not for the area he lived in. And then it also provides opportunities for you to navigate your way through. Because somebody can ask Kombian that, and you are lucky to meet this man who took you to London, and then me, do you know where I came from? Me, I'm from Ashaiman. Yeah, but even there, that's why the Bible says that you have to shine in any corner you find yourself. You have to be the salt in your world. If it is a ghetto, look, I've met people who their story started from when they were selling aquatics. But through then, they make sure that they are diligent. Or too much. Oh, uncle, this one there, you are drinking too much. Through that, somebody say, Charlie, girl, win, or we say, and then the opportunity comes. You get it? So you have your personal principles. You need to be honest with yourself, which is integrity. And then you need to be honest with the world, and then accept honesty as well. And then you need the discipline. That's the final one for me. All these, I take it as all these, you already have the fundamental attribute of humility and serviceability. I.e., you so I'm assuming that is your nature. Because that one, if you don't have it, we can't go anywhere. If you're small and you say, akola hu ni sa ho no nimpenifo didi. You say akola so behu akola nimpenifo be didi, but suma de empire no. If you're a child and you eat with the adults, ask for sending. Be prepared. Say yeah, best small. So because that you don't want to go, now who should go? You know, when a Bekus issue happens, people are laughing. But who do you want to be leading? How old are you now? Do you want an SSI to be shouting, or you want the owner of the CEO of this other one?
Let's now bring our senior man.
You're a big basket of everything.
Of course, I mean, like you have to be aware that somebody ever smile. No. So don't be
Perry, you're a big basket of everything. I've really enjoyed. Come on, I've enjoyed the day.
I tell you, his experiences
are a big ball of everything. That's amazing. That's amazing.
He's had a lot of experiences, and when we're talking about Daniel, that's one thing about people like that who have the things they talk about are not things they've read about or things that they've seen other people. It's things they've lived. And so when they begin to burst forth, you realize that this is coming from a deep place of years and years and layers of, like experiences. And I like to listen to people like that because they begin to see that, like 5 years of working for someone without being paid a salary. It means that it's possible to do all of these things right, stick by your principles, and it will work. You don't expect that some of it won't work.
So but that's what I was saying, that even though it didn't work, I still built certain relationships that are helping me till today. Right. So that's what I'm saying, that once you stick to your gun.
Even aside from building those relationships, there's always a very valuable lesson you
learn
when you
certain knowledge,
the wrong people. You will never you'll be careful in the next phase of your life. It
of
pays.
Course.
They teach you a very good lesson for life. It's
Oh yes.
pays.
I mean, if you look at law, they say the best lawyers are the old lawyers, the experienced lawyers. They are the best lawyers.
Yeah.
And it's not about how many court cases you have read or what you scored at law school. It is the cases that you have done and you have lost, and a certain judge told you, hey, this one we don't. That is what makes you a good lawyer.
Yeah.
You see, so it is the experience that, because look, when I was in school, I realized that the classes I did the best at are the ones that I raised my hand the most. And the questions that I could never get wrong in exams are the ones that I got wrong in class. Because when you get a question wrong in class, and then your boys laugh at you, or nobody even laughs at you, and you are corrected, you will never forget.
For life.
You will never forget. That's it. The question, there is that question that you will never get wrong.
Life.
It is for life.
Yeah.
You know, so
Let
yes,
me put it this way. Just to wrap it up, let me put it this way. We have a 25-year-old who is a university graduate. He's done with a national service, no employment yet, as is the norm in Omofia. So we are talking about these principles and values, and how you are talking to this person. This person is coming to you. How do I begin to build what we are talking about, and so that the next 10 years of my life, from 25 to 35, will change, because I don't like where I am. Because I want to make sure the next destination for the next decade changes. Talk to this person, a 25-year-old graduate, national service is done, no meaningful connections, no meaningful network.
Well. Let me first and foremost say this before Kombian answers this question for me. The first thing I will tell that 25-year-old is that you need two things: learn to be hungry. Learn how to be hungry. That, I mean, it's acquire a skill. If you need to, that's what the Bible teaches us to fast. Sometimes you see Christianity, we take things as spiritual. When you're fasting, you are not learning, you are not breaking any doors. So you are learning self-discipline. So one, learn to be hungry, because there are going to be certain things that you will see people eating. Don't go. You will see certain deals that can give you a certain amount of money to give you food. You haven't, I mean, I'll tell you stories of times when I hadn't eaten the whole day. I could just call a certain friend and tell some move, and I'll get money. But I decided, say, no, and I slept hungry. Do you get it? So learn to be hungry, one, and then learn to be serviceable. Persona, like be somebody I will persona. You know, let people see you are that boy. But your name will never leave people's mouths. Be serviceable. Yesterday, they all share them. Even if they are younger than you, we'll go and buy this one. We're going to do that for me. Be serviceable. That's where it starts. You're right now where you are in your room. No, tell yourself that from today, I'm going to be yes, mommy, and I'll smile about it. And I'm going to learn to be hungry. You know, as I'm going, I'm not thinking of the trouble that out here, because I know how to be hungry, and I'm a person. That's the first thing. And then everything else we've said on, I think from here on, Kombian can add everything else to it to get to where he has gotten.
Let's talk to our 25-year-old unemployed university graduate in Omofia.
Yeah. Perry, I'm happy Perry set the right tone. See, sometimes our lives are better examples than whatever theories you read anywhere. My poor old lady, way back in the north, realized that her kids are very smart. They are always first in the village, but they never go to any proper school. After JHS, they are jumping around. She said to herself, this boy, you have to go to school. Me. Okay, it was like, yo, she carried me to some village we've never been to before. We didn't know anybody there. And we learned life's lessons the harshest way. I'm telling you. After that, she told me, you have completed JHS here. You will go to secondary school. I'm going back to your father in the village. You will go to secondary school. It was not a negotiation. No. You will go to secondary school. I said, yes, mama. Okay. She went away. You know what I did? I went to live with a cocoa farmer on his farm for 1 year and 7 months in order to earn 43, sorry, those days, no, 43 cities, 10 pesos, and then Ghana is Ghana. Can you know, I'm kind of 431,000. Yes, I'm kind of, 43 cities, 10 pesos. That was enough to pay my admission fees at a Ejisumai. And the man used his connection. He knew a certain teacher there who always bothered him that, oh, please, can't you bring some of your children here so they'll come and study with us? So when I said I was going to study, I said, oh, officer, because of the services you've rendered to me on my farm for a year, and Rudolph, I'm not kidding you. I don't know if you've been to a village before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, family, but
that is
you wake up
near
at
to
dawn and then
Lagos.
you are getting to the farm. And you don't sleep. There's no off day.
That
Sunday
is
to
the
Sunday.
closest you get. That is the closest you get to slavery. I'm telling you.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Sunday to Sunday.
And the nearest you could get, you could walk to get a car to even go to Tepa was 13 kilometers away from the farm. 13 kilometers. And you know what we used to do? You carry food on your head. When the man is going to see his children in Kumasi, you carry food on your head. Walk 30 kilometers to where he will get a car, go to Kumasi. And then you go back in the night and sleep like 2 hours and be ready to go to farm the next morning. Now, I want to use this to illustrate the point that the youth have become very comfortable with fancy jobs that pay nothing. Somebody prefers to stay in an office that gives him 600 Ghana cedis a month. That is not enough for even his transportation from where he lives to that office. Transportation ends. And sana ya can rent on wasem. And sana ya babe kadi ubedidi. But we are not comfortable doing things that would rather propel us, no matter what. And I don't blame them that much. It's because of the society from where we live in. I mean, in the UK, in US, I am privileged to have seen live in different environments. And look, people respect every single kind of worker. In my department, I remember when the cleaners come around to do their job, you need to see the kind of respect. Look, that is what he's doing.
I mean, Kombian,
if it doesn't do, you are even in trouble.
Kombian, the even issue is that we even with the graduates who move from Ghana, I don't know what the jobs we go and do.
Come on, those are things we do.
Those we do. Yes. We will do it somewhere
in our village.
In our
we are
village,
not comfortable doing those things in our own cities.
No.
Because people will laugh at you, even your own parents won't support you. Look, your
and
life
also because no, Kombian, and also because not to cut you off, and also because over there you are doing it for a quick money. Over here you are building it for social capital, which will take you somewhere. You see, so in as much as the same,
this is your life we are talking about.
Yes, exactly. Somebody wouldn't do this 1 year, 7 months service that you've done, which was the reason you are where you are today. But you wouldn't mind going to do that donkey job for £1,000 back because I know you're trying to quick. But they wouldn't have the discipline to do it for a greater purpose. I mean, so it's what you're saying is absolutely true. It's very we don't respect it.
We are talking about your life here. Yeah. Whatever it takes. Look, if you have any discipline to do whatever it takes, I mean, not evil, not bad things,
of course,
but to do whatever it takes, it should be about your life. If there is anything you can dirty yourself to get it done right, it should be your life, number one. Any other thing can wait. So if you have completed school, my challenge to myself was, my mom lived in the village, gathered coins to get me to school. I have finished school. I am sitting now, I don't know where to turn left from right. Am I serious? What did I learn? How did that not make me better than my mom? Why would I do that? So I challenged myself, even after SSS and even after university. I don't mind working on a farm. If that gets me something I want, it's me. Learn that. There are times I did certain works for months, like 5 months between January and May. You are not paid a dime. But the kind of trust I came to build with the manager, even up till now, he trusts me more than his own son that he's handing over the company. Every day he's just like, oh, I wish I could hand this thing to you. The man now trusts me more than his son. I went from between January and May, no pay. I didn't complain. I didn't die. Sometimes a lot of personal sacrifice, they help. So look, this whole idea of sitting back, waiting for a fancy job, they don't come easily, especially not in Omofia, where one uncle can hijack a whole employment or a whole agency and be employing people over there, whether they qualify or not. If you are waiting, not trouble for you. There's no open, sincere, and objective means by which you can get any job. You have to fold your sleeves. Get down to do what is necessary. And look, people take life as though it is some joke. I say, yeah, be like, no. It's not in my dictionary. It's either I'm doing it or I won't do it. It's that simple. So if you mean to do something important for your life, then you do it. If you won't do it, then please go out with the boys and do whatever you want. That's it. Number two, you see, this association we have been talking and the environment and where you find yourself, there's a way they drain you without you knowing. When I in 2021, I visited Ghana from UK and I saw a certain culture emerging. Every weekend, in fact, every evening, you'll find people, bars and drinking spots popping up. Some even on the pavement, you find chairs there. People go out there, sit down and chill after work. You got 1,200 no electricity. 1,000 na kano. Utitia the aka obotomi 140 Ghana cedis. Udi be kwatra wanti akonumbia. Hey, kwagu. Hey, they will tell you, and sit down and tell you, don't listen to that nonsense. Don't listen to that nonsense. And I did demand don't avoid that kind of association. Avoid it at all costs. This is your life you're talking about. And in any case, it's my son is troubling me. Say hi to uncle.
Hey. That's what
he wants chocolate. He wants chocolate, so he's coming to bribe me to go and give him chocolate. I'll come. Go
it's National Chocolate Day in Ghana in 2 days, so that's why.
Oh yeah, I know. For them. Oh God. Anyway, so you avoid that kind of association. Now, that aside, there are. In any case, would you ever meet any manager? Would somebody meet you at a drinking spot and offer you a job? One of share the savior in Saviase. Who has ever met his savior at a drinking bar?
Come to think of it,
Avoid those things. In any case, if these are for practical reasons, so yes, I'm coming to preach to you that drinking is bad. No, I'm not preaching to you that drinking is bad. You don't even go there. Avoid it at all costs. Live within your means. Now, number three, there's a funny thing in Ghana. A typical Ghanaian gentleman prefers to look fine with empty pocket than to be dirty with a full pocket. Hey, Jack, small money he gets, he wants to buy the latest dress and look fancy and do like this and take a picture and go now that's about it. It comes from a certain pressure. After all, you know that the world KUSD, Conti, one Katanga, one five, we can see, oh, Commonwealth for the now the amount for pressure. Why wouldn't baby or no need the free? Abusumi be a man free, a the brand for you. Utu him, I know of any baby, the brand before Nadi or huh? So there are certain things you don't do for the purpose of your life, boy. You're coming in. go and play outside. Now, there are certain things you avoid for practical reasons because that is life. You don't have the money, you don't have the means, avoid anything that will put you in trouble. Now, that aside, I think one practical thing I'd like to add before we wrap this whole thing up is that sometimes we are, I don't know, say system in IASL. Sometimes we are a little bit cowardly, you know. There are, I say, never be I am fans to see. So even if you look, be bold and talk to certain big men and tell them, oh, Dad, I have this qualification. I just finished school. I think I may be useful to your company, but I don't even know how to go about it. I thought I should mention it to you. Look, in fact, these big boys, they will respect you for coming to him, not to beg for money, but to tell him that, oh, I mean, you imagine something by any chance you meet Hesben. I mean, wouldn't me, I'll walk straight to him and tell him, well, because of ANA, I would be happy if you think I'll be of service and you'd want to put my service to use in your company. Be bold. Sometimes those things help. Be bold. Be bold, because opportunities are not for the fieros. No, it's for those who are willing and bold enough to grab them when they can. Sometimes opportunities look like monsters. Opportunities look like I don't know. They look scary. Yeah.
We would rather take a selfie and post it on Instagram.
You see?
I met that point.
Do you know, Kombian, I would rather coin it this way. I wouldn't say be bold. I'll say be prepared. Because yes, I'll say be prepared in the sense that being prepared brings you a certain level of boldness. But being bold doesn't necessarily mean that you are prepared.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, there was a day, the day when Accra flood, 2017, when that flood, June 3rd flood.
Yeah. When people died people bent, yeah.
Yes. Let me tell you a story. So this person I'm speaking about that I worked for about 5 years without getting anything.
Yeah.
I was just part of a production team. So I didn't have any, I mean, I studied at Greek in school. I didn't have any media background, or I didn't know how to do photography. It's mean I'm a carry. I'm organizing for. Then I'll organize their food. I'll get the budget. When batteries, I'll go and buy the batteries, all that. Sasa your friend producer, I didn't even know. You know, so I ended up becoming a very good producer. So we got a gig to go and film that. If you remember, there was that particular day was the Mayor's Conference. The World Mayor's Conference was going on in Accra, where Rollins even went to make some comments about one of the ministers, and so there was something like that where all the mayors in the world were in Accra for some conference that particular day. And I remember for that particular morning, we had the seminar at banquet hall, State House banquet hall on Parliament's, the car park there, the left side there. And the guest of honor was the Vice President of Comoros. So I mean, after the seminar, because we were the camera crew, we had access to everywhere, of course. Sir, can we take pictures of it? And I'm chatting him. Then I was like, oh, when I heard you were coming, I did some reading, and I'd really love to have, pick your brain on some of the things. Do you know what he said to me? He said, all right, then give me your business card. I'll have my assistant call you. I said, sir, please, I don't have a business card. Let me go and look for a paper for you. And what he told me that day was that as a young man, always be ready to sell yourself. I will never forget that thing that the man told me on that day. He said, as a young man, always be ready to sell yourself. And the truth of the matter is that Vice President of Comoros, do you get it? So I wouldn't say, yes, be bold. Be bold. But I believe that being prepared, knowing what you want, right? You, Nankasa, let's say your whole thing is that you, Nankasa, you want to go to school, right? Like, let's say you are Kombian. Your whole dream is that I want to go and do my master's. I want to go and do this and this and that, right? Now you meet a certain man who is willing to put in a word for you, and you don't know how to fill forms. You don't know how to get your transcript. You are now going to chase, like you are now going to change your transcript. Do you get it? So, in as much, yes, you can be bold. Say, I want to go to school. And a lot of the times I tell people that sometimes, the reason people are not recommending you is because they don't want to go and embarrass themselves. And people don't realize that. He say, oh, this big man doesn't help anybody. Yes, because he doesn't see your preparedness in the thing that you say you want to do. So of course, he's not going to waste his time to put in that kind of phone call for you. Like Kombian mentioned, when the farmer called the friend who is a Jusuman headmaster, after the first term, what report did the headmaster give to the farmer? At the end of the first year, what report because the Obama is about friend. Hey, tell Obama didn't buy hey, first in one audio. You have made his investment worthwhile. Because what we forget is that every time somebody recommends us, what we are doing is that when we go there, it is an audition for the next person who will follow us. So if Kombian recommends me to somebody for a certain course or for a certain something, that's a economic anybody Kombian brings, there'll be a question mark on them. But the Kombian the best student. I mean,
you've made two of my points in different ways. I was going to tie in preparation with this, but I was going to look at it in a different way. I'm glad you brought your
okay.
Then my point was that usually we prefer unisika wakoto data 50 megabytes Instagram instead of googling and reading what is happening or even to learn some new skill.
Exactly.
Fine when no they call TikTok. I got videos now data nasa. Unisika.
No.
Obi Chrome the speed of Wi-Fi. Can say 70 megabyte per second. Obi Chrome no. The 70 megabyte need entire data for the week. Instagram and TikTok. Are you serious? So mine was going to decide that they say information at also, but you are yet too lazy to even read and learn. We have become extremely lazy.
And that comes back to discipline.
That was the angle I was going to add the preparation. And then another point you made, it has to do with in life. I tell myself that any opportunity I get and the door opens to me, mine is not just to walk in, but to hold the door for the next person coming. And I'm glad you hit on that point. Look, I won't lie to you. This man I worked on his farm is not to be hidden. In 2014, he won the national best cocoa farmer. If you check, you'll find him out.
Wow.
So imagine a man of that caliber giving recommendation about you. You're gone. He was not just an ordinary farmer. The same thing in fact, when I was leaving for the UK, the first thing my wife told me was, she said, sweetheart, this man trusts you so much. I have no doubt. But here's my advice to you. Unless you are in some really, really terrible need of something, don't ask him for anything. If it is not necessary, don't. That was the day I said, I'm glad I'm with a wise woman. You know, typically people will tell you, oh, Bruni, dear, oh, me tell stories to take. No, I won't. No, I won't. At the moment, I'm doing my PhD. I'm on stipend and taking care of my family. I could ask the man for anything I want. He would give me. I won't do that.
Exactly.
So even when you get the little opportunities, don't cheapen yourself. That is the last thing I want to close with. Those opportunities come. Even Obi Abi Nakuma so don't think, oh, no, this is just the beginning. Don't cheapen yourself. Hold high the principles of integrity that Perry has already elaborated on. Let them guide you. Let them be the light pointing you in the direction to go. Don't lower your standards because, oh, I have got this opportunity. No, don't cheapen yourself. Keep your head high, and you have no idea where the future is leading you. Sometimes some opportunities are not just the destinations. They're leading you somewhere else. So if you slack, not trouble for you.
Yeah.
So all of this, if you make it in life, Sometimes it comes from within. That is your own preparation. Sometimes it comes from outside. That is your connection and the kind of social capital you build with other people. You need to work on all of this. It's not just one aspect. You need to work on all of these. They are very important. So if you are a graduate, you don't have work yet, don't worry. It's a normal thing in Omufia. But your preparedness, your courage, your ability to sell yourself on the spot, Perry mentioned that, and all the integrity that you've used to build some character for yourself, keep them. And don't be shy to do anything that will get you your living. I'm telling you, people think this is a cliche. Look, there's nothing wrong with going to farm. Me, I've been farming my entire life, and well, maybe until after 2006, maybe that was when I never went to farm. But earlier part of my life, no, farms were my best friends. Sometimes, if I don't have anything to do, I just go to farm, work, and when I'm tired, go and find some plantain leaves and lay them somewhere and lie down. I am out of trouble. I wouldn't want to sit somewhere and listen to somebody tell you some stories to get you attracted about some other unnecessary stuff to start directing your life in that. Focus. Make use of any opportunity. Be bold to talk to big boys when it matters. Be prepared when somebody gives you even the slightest opportunity. It is when you prove yourself in the little things that the bigger ones come knocking.
Yeah.
Jesus was not joking.
Excellent. You know, we obviously cannot exhaust this topic. There's a lot we can still talk about, but we have to wrap up. We've done 2 hours already. I'm not sure you. Yeah, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of experiences, and like we talked about the last time. We hope that these conversations will carry on. Soon we will open it to an audience to join us over on Zoom, so that when people want to chip in, have questions and all of that. But for now, we will keep trying to do it this way. When we decide to share, yes, we post it and online for other people to listen. But these ones are just among us, so it can be more casual and fun. So Perry, let me just say in 1 minute, what do you want people to take away from this conversation?
I mean, the basic thing I want us to take away is that whoever you are, whatever you're doing, have something that you want to achieve. Is that, I mean, that's the fundamental of everything. Pastor Doug Otabil, Doug Hayward Mills, sorry, mentioned one time that if you're a human being without any values, you are like a leaf, a dry leaf. And from Aboko Haukobi, Aboko Haukobi. You know, and the Bible said, do not be lukewarm. If you want to be this, be this. If you want to be that, be that. If you know that you want to achieve something in life, decide on what that thing is. That's the fundamental. If you know that you don't want to achieve anything in life, decide, I don't want to achieve anything, and then that one to go with it. But then there's nothing worse than you feeling within you that, oh, this I want to do this, I want to do that. But when you ask you, like, what is it that you want? And you have no real idea. You know, I'm not saying the particular job or career, but if it is philanthropy, if it is entrepreneurship, if it is business, if it is school, whatever it is that you like, whatever it is, if it's just a 9 to 5, whatever it is, have an idea of what it is that you want. That's basically what I'm saying. Say in Sanu Juma or say a sports or you want to be a rapper, like whatever it is in this world. And we are in the kind of world now that you can basically make money from anything, including even talking, including being funny, telling jokes, you know, dancing, whatever it is. Decide on one of them. And that is the fundamental. Once you decide, then everything that we've discussed today, attach them to that particular thing that you've decided, and then take it from there. And just with time. For me, my first actual farm management job was 2009, right? But I started making money from farming in 2019. That's 10 years. You get it? And within that period, it was all investment in Kwasiebo. And when I say started making money, I don't mean like profit. I mean, even like getting returns, like getting something out of it. So all that 10 years to me was me learning. Now it has taken me to certain regions, certain towns, certain places. I've met certain people, I've climbed certain hills, not because of anything, but simply because the material kind of. But I mean, you can imagine 10 years and I wasn't sleeping. So like he said, we've become lazy. That's why I'll add to the discipline. So decide on what it is that, and have an idea. It can be 2 or 3 or 4. For me, it was 3. I wanted to be in the media. I wanted to do farming, and I wanted to do entrepreneurship. I didn't know what, but I knew any of these things. So whenever I hear conversation about any of them, I'm taking my head there because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I hoped that by being proactive, I was going to also find inspiration on something that I could tap into. And through that, I've done marketing. I've run companies. I've traveled. I've done sports has taken me to different countries. I've organized music events. I've worked with Grammy artists. Like it has given me enough experience, and with all that, it has shaped me to have an idea of what I wanted to do. If I sat in my room waiting for an inspiration to come, maybe by this time that's so that Domi Paraku. But because I decided to, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna let that stop me. Still, you get me? So even though I don't know what I'm going to do, even not knowing what I'm going to do, is not going to be stopping me from what I'm going to do, even though I don't know what it is. I don't know if that makes sense. But I don't know what I want to do, but I'm not gonna stop. Like I'm just gonna do something. So just decide on something and just move. The Bible says the prayer move. Prayer moves. As simple as that. Decide on something and everything that we've discussed, add it to it, and you're done. Like give yourself 10 years. I say, do not. If you can give yourself 10 years for anything, you are done. But the problem is you won't give yourself 10 years. You give yourself 6 months.
It may be, yeah, but you have to. I think it's a Kombian. Let's do a takeaway. What do you want people to take away from this conversation?
For me, I think what I would like to add to what Perry has said is that we are not here to tell you that life is some easy, rosy. No, no, no. And we are not here to scare you by giving you or exposing you to how harsh the realities of life are. But so that you know exactly what it is that you're facing. You prepare well and go out there to take any opportunity that you get. And to take opportunities with open-mindedness so that if those opportunities are meant to spare you somewhere else, then you are open to move all the time. Sometimes there are changes that come very painfully. Imagine you are gainfully employed and they are yanking you off to some other place. You may think, no, so you have no idea what the future is leading. So be open to life and be prepared. Don't follow the cliche that you need to look better than your pocket actually says. If you have 3 shirts and you clean them, it's fine. You can always look presentable. You don't need to have a whole wardrobe of shirts. If people come to church and ask you, oh, Charlie, last week go back, so I want coffee, meaning just once is now it's their business. So on sorry. Now I've been waiting that Timak. I would say we don't even, he doesn't even deserve your you don't break a sweat on that kind of human being. So you don't pay attention to those people. Pressure on you to go out and drink on we don't we a guy. Those are rather unnecessary stuff. Don't give in to those things. And we know those of us coming out fresh out of university, we have a whole lot of expectations. People are expecting that you do A or B, you put on a tie and go and work in a bank, or your colleagues are doing this, you to do some. No. Life have different paths. You have no idea where yours is leading. Don't for other people's opportunities. Have your own. You have no idea. And I'm telling you, do everything with confidence because you have no idea who's watching. A quick story. What got me into radio was that my schoolmates in the university recommended me. They were having a debate about democracy and religion and what. So he asked that I'm the right person to do because I've done philosophy. I know a lot about these things. They called me. I went on air. The first time the manager of the radio station, he heard me speak. He left. He had a water processing company. He left that place to come and see me with his eyes. He said, "You have radio voice." By then, I was a fanboy, not in the Amabako crime in Meninya Day.
Just a fireman.
Yeah. He came over to see me. He was like, "Yo, man, you have a radio voice. I like you. I like your voice." I just took that as a normal compliment and I went my way. They invited me again. And it was a different matter. When he listened to how I was thinking and how I was presenting myself, the man took me, somebody with no radio experience whatsoever, and gave me an afternoon show to host. After doing that for less than 2 months, he moved me from that point to morning show, prime time show, me, no background whatsoever. Not to blow my own trumpet, but to reiterate the point Perry made brilliantly. Preparation, imagine I went there and I'm going to pass. So now you question without all the answers, and I'm going to I joined other people shouting and I made my point by point. These are my premises, these are my conclusions. If you agree with me here, then you have to agree. I made my point straight. I didn't miss word at all. And then imagine I was not prepared. Now I'm sorry, I'm so radio dear. I would have missed such an opportunity. But that really led me to a whole range of people. I've ever interviewed Setekbe. How would I have met that kind of human being if I had not got that opportunity? You see, even when I was in Ghana, and he would either text back or when he comes back, he called me. That's one thing. Some of these big guys, they have their issues, but one thing I love about some of them is they are so down to earth and simple. The personal relations, from how I have experienced it, to be honest, he's a really nice man. I call him, he comes back, he calls back, or he texts me back. William, I can't talk to you around this time. Maybe later on. So you need to be prepared. Otherwise, certain opportunities that are supposed to take you somewhere, you miss them just because you failed to prepare. Those things are in your power. Do them. What is not in your power is those that lie beyond, that you can rely on God and some other important people to help you. But what is in your power, do them as though your life depended on this. Manuesi.
Wow. It's been fun, guys. It's been a lot of learning and I'm glad we were able to do this. So we'll just wrap it up here. It's 6 minutes past 7 here in Ghana. And when is our football match? Barcelona is playing Villarreal today. I know you want to go and watch them.
It's supposed to be 3 p.m. Let me check for you.
Hopefully. Okay, Perry, thank you so much for making this.
Okay, let me run away.
A couple of other things.
As you guys see.
Thank you.
All right, bro. Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Kombian.
Yeah, but
nice
the Barca game is 3 p.m.
Oh,
nice meeting you, Kombian. So,
Perry, we have unfinished business. I beg.
Most definitely. Yes, since we are both London boys, we have a lot to talk about.
So everything at all, this guy will
Yes. I'll collect the contact. We take.
Yeah.
Rudolph, we'll talk.
Peace out.